Testing, testing. Alrighty, people. Um, Here we got the year two playoffs. Um, um, let's. We had a pretty interesting season. Say the least. Glad that at least this time we have no CPU teams in the playoffs, so we don't have that nonsense anymore. So let's get into it. Any guests or so, um, feel free to join the Madden chat if you're trying to get your voice heard on the various playoff matchups. Um, so with that being said, um, let's get into the matchups that we got. Let's start with the AFC. Um, we've got the first off, we gotta acknowledge the Chiefs for being number one in the AFC again this year. Um, Played a perfect season. Um, Looking to make amends for last year's defeat um to the Browns in the playoffs. So shout out to the Chiefs. Playing really good balanced football. Um, so we'll see how that works out for them. They got the first round bye again. So we'll start with the 2-7 matchup, which is the Colts and Ravens. Now, this matchup is a rematch. However, um, neither party schedule meshed, so that game got simulated. So this will be a true matchup this time between the two teams. Um, it's gonna be a real ground game between the two. Although the Colts are missing Jonathan Taylor. Um, Colts missing Jonathan Taylor is gonna be a huge thing. You know, Probably the best back in the game. Great speed, great power. He just does a little bit of everything. Um, so yeah, the Colts are gonna be without Jonathan Taylor in this matchup, going up against the Ravens. Ravens were one of the top teams. I believe they were second in or third in rushing this year. Let me go look at my. Didn't update the site. Let me update the site real quick so I could speak more accurately on some of this stuff. But yeah, it should be an interesting matchup. Um, I would favor the Colts in this matchup. Probably, if I had to give a line, I'd probably say Colts 2.5 or yeah, Colts 2.5 right now. If I just had to give something off the top of my head, um, so we're going to the next matchup, which is the 3-6 between the Browns and Titans. Now, these teams met in the regular season early in the regular season, and the Browns dominated the matchup. However, some things have changed, over the course of the season. Um, Titans have been pretty explosive, you know, making big plays on offense and getting turnovers on defense. I believe they were one of the league leaders in takeaways this year. So yeah, now we're looking at, this matchup could be very different than the last time. However, they'll be doing the Titans will be doing it without Derrick Henry. So we got another running key running back missing. Um, so yeah, it should be interesting to see how that game goes. If I were to give a line, I'd still probably favor the Browns, maybe by, I say Browns 6.5 right now. So that would be my prediction. That would be my line right now. Um, but yeah, it should be a little bit better than the matchup they had earlier, where Browns dominated. The Titans have seemed to come up with a formula that works a little bit better now. So yeah, this matchup should be closer, but I still anticipate the Browns to being the favorite here. Now we are going to the 4-5 matchup, which is the Dolphins and Chargers. Chargers kind of snake bitten a little bit by being in the same division as the Chiefs, because the Chargers were far and away the second best team in the AFC, but you know, being in the Chiefs division, they're gonna have to play a game on the road to start the playoffs. Um, right now, the Chargers have been playing pretty damn good football the entire year. They get after the quarterback. I believe Joey Bosa led the league in sacks. Um, so yeah, I'm looking at that matchup, especially against the Dolphins team that was near the bottom in passing. However, Dolphins were good at getting turnovers, but again, near the bottom in passing. Um, if I had to give a line for the Chargers Dolphins matchup, I'd say I'd say it'd be Chargers 9.5. Chargers 9.5. I think the Chargers have been, um will be pretty dominant in their matchup against the Dolphins, but it is a playoffs, and we see stranger things happen. So you never know until you gotta play the game. So yeah, um, gotta play the game. So now we'll be moving over to the NFC. NFC. Um, we've got the Cowboys, who are the number one seed again this year. After getting it last year, but suffered a first round defeat, or second, a divisional round defeat um to the Niners last year. So Cowboys looking to make amends. Their only loss was to the undefeated Chiefs. So yeah, we'll see what happens with With the Cowboys this time, I expect them to be a little bit stronger, but we'll see. You know, the Cowboys had a very good draft last year, or this year. Had a lot of excuse me, rookies. A lot of rookies. Uh, well, yeah, I did. Thank you for correcting me. I mean, sure, the Cowboys did lose to the Commanders, but that was a game that didn't matter. They benched everyone, so they did have two losses on their ledger. Um, so we'll start with the 2-7 matchup between the Saints and the Seahawks. Seahawks kind of backed into the playoffs a little bit. They had a really tough time towards the end of the season. Had opportunities to win the division, but could not come through. Um, so they're in at the seventh spot against the Saints. Now the Saints started off red hot this season and then had some really ugly losses. So I don't know, like this game is very intriguing to me. I personally think that this game has a chance to be an upset. Um, because like I said, the Saints did have some losses that were a little puzzling. They got beat by the Lions, the Packers. Um, they got beat by the Vikings as well. You know, they had some interesting games. So, um, Saints did kind of benefit from having a weaker NFC South this year with the Bucks losing the GOAT. Um, so yeah, a little challenging out there when you lose a person of that stature. So, if I give a line, for the Saints and Seahawks, I'd say it'd be currently I'd go Saints 4.5. Saints 4.5 or 3.5, my bad. Saints 3.5. So we'll see. Like I said before, you gotta play the games. However, I'm I don't know. We'll see what comes out of this matchup. Now 3-6. The Niners and Eagles. Um, let me see. I believe these two met in the regular season. Let me just double check. The schedule. Yeah, they met week 3 and the Niners were victorious in that game. Um there was some key turnovers in that matchup. Um that made it a little bit closer, but yeah, the Niners still won that game 20-10. Um so I it's gonna be this game is a contrast of styles because the Eagles pass the ball quite a bit. They don't, they don't really haven't really established much running the ball like that versus the Niners who had Eli Mitchell who's top five in rushing yards, I believe. So, yeah, I'm looking at this matchup. This contrast of style should be interesting, and a lot of these games gonna come down to turnovers and just getting your points when you can. So my line for the Niners and Eagles, I'm looking at. I'm saying Niners 2.5. Niners 2.5. This is good. I think this game is gonna be close. It's gonna come down to a key turnover in the fourth, and yeah, the Niners are gonna try to make this game as slow as possible. While the Eagles are gonna be more of a short passing type game. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see the contrast of styles and who comes out on top. But ultimately, I believe the Niners could be the one that comes out with like maybe a late field goal or something. Now, the last matchup to the NFC, the Lions and Packers. Now, this matchup shall be very interesting. As divisional rivals, Lions and Packers split this season. Um, Packers won a close game earlier in the season, and then the Lions came back with more of an explosive offense, offensive performance, and won the second matchup. Um, this one is intriguing, you know, because most of these games is gonna come down to turnovers. And I think whoever takes care of the ball more in this matchup is ultimately gonna be the ones that comes out victorious. Um, I, this game is gonna be very close and very contested, and it just, who's gonna make the key turnover here. Um, my line for the Lions and Packers. Um, I have the Lions 1.5 in this matchup. Lions 1.5. So, um, I think this is gonna be the closest of the NFC games. Um, so yeah, I'm interested. This is gonna be fun to see. Um, see what adjustments they make. Because this being a divisional matchup again, we get to see each other quite a bit. So there's gonna be some tendencies. People gonna pick up, and it's hard to defeat. It's hard to play a opponent three times in a season and have um the same success because people are gonna pick up on stuff. So you know um but yeah, I'd have the lines 1.5 right now. Um so that is what I got for the first round of the playoffs. My prediction for the Super Bowl. I am looking at the AFC, and I believe that the Chiefs are gonna right the wrongs of last year. Now that they run the ball and they're more balanced offense, um, I think that that is gonna be a game changer for them. Um, so I have the Chiefs as the AFC representative. The NFC representative. This one is tougher. This one is tougher for me because the Cowboys have been the class of the NFC. However, we saw what happened to them last year. You know, they did retool. They did get some more firepower, both on defense and offense. Um, However, they weren't the best passing offense. They weren't the best passing offense. So I believe if somebody forces the Cowboys to throw the ball, that they're gonna have problems um keeping up. So I don't necessarily believe the Cowboys are gonna be the team that represents the NFC. However, I am not sure who will be the representative for the NFC. This one is a real toss up to me because I honestly believe that, you know, even though I have the Saints on upset alert, I think that, they get past the Seahawks. You know, they could beat, you know, the rest of the teams in the NFC. Um the Niners represented the NFC last year, so I can't fully write them off. And then the Lions and Packers, they're right there as well. So my prediction for the NFC is if it's not the Cowboys, I believe it could be the winner um between the Saints and Seahawks maybe. I don't know. This is a toss up to me. This is a real toss up to me. Let me know your thoughts. I am struggling with the NFC a little bit. I mean, the winner of the Lions Packers game could be out there as well. Um, so who knows? It's just who can catch fire, who can keep the turnovers under control. So, um, yeah, that's the playoff preview for the year two. Thank you guys for checking in. Um, and we'll see you guys after the off season. It'll be definitely exciting to hear from some people after we see what happens this season. So we'll catch you guys next time. Alrighty, peace.